Maize Empowerment Initiative for Africa and Maize Initiative Cooperative. We are here again to unlock the agricultural wealth. We want to explore the opportunities in commercial production of either a cash crop or biannual crop. So in this our live series of unlocking the agricultural wealth, we will be taking on different crops, and we will be looking at the three main areas of the crops. We'll be looking at production, we'll be looking at the market, we'll be looking at some we might go into processing, or we might look at the production, the commercial value of the market, the economics of the market for the crop, the profit analysis. We'll look at everything that has to do with that crop, so we can know the opportunities that we stand to gain in agriculture. Agriculture has wealth for us. Agriculture is one of the priority area for us in Nigeria. It's an area where we have natural endowment, natural resources, and there is wealth to tap into the sector, both the crop production and the livestock production. And so today, I'm super excited. We have one of our team members here who is an expert of repute. He's been in this industry for so many years. He's been in agriculture from his young age. He's been in this industry for about 30 years. But in terms of doing it professionally, he's been doing it professionally for like 15 years. He is an agriculturist. He has experience in farm setup, machine fabrication, agronomy, good agronomy practices. He is very well grounded. And I'm talking about no other person but Mr. Emmanuel Gimo. So Mr. Emmanuel Gimo is going to start this series with us, and we are going to have this series in parts. Like I said, this is the MyCETI Empowerment Initiative for Africa live stream training, um, unveiling the potentials in agriculture, the investment opportunity in agriculture, and how you can get into this untapped wealth, because there is a lot of opportunity that we've not explored in Nigeria that we have in this sector. So I'm going to bring on Mr. Emmanuel, who is going to be taking us into one of the value chain, one of the crop that we are looking at today, which is maize. What are the opportunities in maize? How do you farm maize? What are the economics of production of maize? What is the market value for maize? So is it a crop you can go into? We have Mr. Emmanuel Jimo, who's going to give us a training in this area. Emma, you're so welcome on this live stream training today.
Thank you.
Hello, Mr. Emmanuel. Yes, you're welcome. So I'm
Thank
going
you.
to hand
Thank you.
over the baton to you. Please take it on. Please take it on. Okay. Um, I was just handing over the baton to Emmanuel to take on the session today on maize production. He's going to be looking at the different aspects of maize production. He's going to look at um, how long does it take to farm maize? What are the good agronomic practices of farming maize? He's going to look at what is the profitability analysis if you want to go into maize. Is it a crop that has export value, or it has just domestic
Value, and almost every home in Nigeria eats maize either directly or indirectly, maybe product processed from maize, etc. Now, let me run us through the cultural practices of maize. When we say by cultural practice, we mean every step you take on the farm, you know, to grow a seed from seed to grain. Seed is what you plant, grain is what you harvest to eat. So when we say cultural practice, it means how do you turn your seed? How do you multiply your seed into grains? Okay, so cultural practice here, I will start by saying site selection. Please, I don't want to take much of our time. Site selection. Number one, when we talk about site selection, we simply mean where you want your farm to be. You know, this is very, very important because when you have a big farm is not what you can just carry and transfer to another place. Farm, your farm you know, is not in bags. We are talking about commercial agriculture here. And when we talk about commercial agriculture, we talk about 5 hectare upward. Once your farm is not up to 5 hectare, you are not into farming. You're just playing. You are the objective of the farming, of course, is not profit. You are just there either to show off, to while away time, to help your community, but you are not in business. So when we say commercial farming is 5 hectares. Okay. Now, when we say site selection here, like I said, please let it be up to 5 hectares for commercial production. One, two, your land must be a secured land, land that is free from controversy, problems, arguments, etc. Land that is also secure security wise from bandits, kidnappers, herdsmen, you know, cattle that will just come graze your crop overnight and destroy your investment. Now, in a very secured place, another another consideration is that your land must be fertile. Your land must be a fertile land that is rich in organic matter. This will help the development of your crop and the proper establishment of your crop as well. Now, having gotten a good land that possesses such characteristic, in the villages, if you want to make say two semovita, I will advise you to plant the white maize because the yellow maize smells when you produce semovita from it. So you don't use the yellow maize. You don't produce yellow maize when you want to produce semovita. So you produce the white maize. Now, when you want to make pap, When you want to make pap, you want to make Tom Brown, and you want to eat fresh, the yellow maize is most preferred up north. While down south, in southern Nigeria, especially in the Niger Delta, white maize is what they prefer to roast and to boil to eat fresh. Okay, so you must also understand the environment and the market so that you don't produce what is alien to the people or what is not acceptable to the people. Okay, all right. So in Abuja now, if you want to produce maize, the yellow maize sells better. So you have to produce what the people are actually interested in. What is produce what is easy to sell. Don't produce what you will struggle to sell. Okay. Now, haven't done that, haven't gotten quality seed to plant. Now, what you do is if you're going to plant your maize, say to okay, haven't done that, you've gotten your seed, you've gotten good land. Now there is what we call land preparation. Land preparation here can be done mechanically or manually. I will advise you do mechanical because labor are no longer available in Nigeria. Labor are very scarce. Before you get people who will work for you, yeah, it's not easy. When we say labor here, we don't just mean laborer or somebody to just come and work. We mean people who have experience to do um, nice land preparation for you, uh, good ridges that are good enough for your planting. Okay, so I'll be talking about mechanical. With manual, you use hoe to make your manual ridges. While mechanical, we use tractor. We can use tractor, we can use the hand push tractor, okay? And then we have three major activities in land preparation for using tractor, using the mechanical method. One, in the north here, our lands are usually not too bushy when we want to farm at the onset of the rain because cattle must have come to graze the past remnant from the field and keep the field clean for you. But down south, you know, clearing is a major job because you have a lot of trees, it's forested, it's usually bushy, so you have to really focus on clearing. Now, after clearing your land, make sure there are no stumps, make sure there are no wood, there are no pits. If when you have ditches, you make sure you cut and then you fill such place, then you dress with topsoil and enrich it with manure. And such manure can come from cow dung, from poultry manure, from all other livestock except for human being. You don't use human being excreta to farm. It's usually not advisable because a lot of culture frowns at that. Okay, now um, now when the first operation the tractor do is to plow. Plowing is done with an implement that is attached to the tractor called plow disc. The plow disc are very giant disc, not serrated. That is, there are no contours on it. They are smooth, round, and very and wide. Now, what the plow does is to go deep into the soil and turn the soil for you, which gives you big clods of soil. The place is rough. Even in the process, when take for instance, when an animal jumps out, because when you are turning the soil, you also have to be careful because snakes may be living inside your soil. So you don't during tractor operation, you don't just walk inside the place barefooted or even with slippers. It is advisable you put on rain boots that gets to your knee, okay, and don't just walk around because some of these snakes, when the tractor plow cuts them into two, they are very dangerous. Even snakes that are not poisonous, once the tractor cuts them, if they bite anybody, it's very difficult for such a person to survive it because they are going to release their last strength of poison into that person. Okay, so after plowing, the next operation is what we call harrowing. Harrowing harrowing is also done with a tractor fitted or mounted implement called a harrow. Okay, now the harrow have two batches of itself, two set of discs, the front one and the back one. Okay, one is serrated, the other one is smooth. that comes to level what the plow has done. It comes to give you a very smooth surface. This one you can run. The only difficulty there is that the ground becomes so soft that as you walk on such a place, your legs begin to sink into the soil. Okay. Now, having done that, the next operation is ridging, but this is a matter of choice. You can ridge it, you may live without ridging and plant like that. So whatever you decide, maybe you want to save cost, you can avoid making ridges. Okay. Now, if you also have a lot of maize to plant and time is not on your side, maybe you have say 100, 500 hectares, 1,000 hectares, and you do- you and time is not on your side, you don't have to waste more time making ridges, so you can plant directly on the floor. Okay. Now, when having prepared your land, at this point I'm going to go with the non-ridging method. Okay. So it's a flat land that we are planting. Now, if you want to plant, I also don't advise you do manual planting. The reason is because manual planting will not give you the needed population for your maize on the field. Now, when you plant your maize on the field, you are supposed to plant 75 centimeter by 25 centimeter. Okay, that's the planting distance. In between two lines should be 75, and in between, within the line between two stands of maize should be 25 centimeter. Now, if you follow this exact dimension or planting distance I've given you are going to have a plant population of 53,333 stand of maize on 1 hectare. Please note this down. It's very important. We are going to come back to this figure later. Okay. Now we are going to have 53,333 stand per hectare. Now, so how do we do our planting? If your planting is tomorrow, you soak your maize today. You soak your maize seed today. The reason why you are soaking it is to break dormancy in case some seeds are dormant, and also to make sure you bring all the seeds, you give them equal opportunity, because some seeds may be harder than the other, some may be tiny, some may be drier than the other. But when you soak it, it helps all your seed dormancy to be broken. All your seeds are ready for germination. And you soak for maize seeds, soaking is not less than 12 hours. 12 hours is the adequate time for soaking. When you soak beyond 12 hours, it will start rotting. You start perceiving smell as if you want to make pap. That's not what we want. 12 hours, that is, when you soak this evening by, say, 6 p.m., by 6 a.m. tomorrow morning, you should be removing your maize from the water. Okay. Now, when you do this, your maize seed are going to emerge from the soil within 3 days. But when you don't do this, they will emerge within 4 days. Now, when you do this, I will also advise you to add organic manure into the water you are using to soak your seed. This is also to help. This is also to help as a booster for your seed when they get to the field. Okay. For example, in poultry production, when you hatch your day old chicks, for the first 3, 4, up to 5 days, they may not even feed. For those of you who have ever reared chicken before, what you call day old chicks are actually not day old, because before they come from Ibadan, where most of the hatcheries are, and get to say Abuja, Kano, Sokoto, they spend 3 to 4 days. If you even observe very well, you discover that some of them are already growing through feather, not hair on their body. They've started growing feather. So a day old chick cannot have that. Now, why are they alive? Why didn't they die? It is because there are left nutrients from the egg that is sustaining them before they are forced feeding. Okay, I'm just using this as an analogy. Okay, now now um now when you do this, you are going to, when you now soak this, so you know the importance of adding the manure now to your soaked seed. When you soak, after soaking the following morning, you remove it from the water, you spread it under a shade. Please, not under the sun. You spread under the shade to air dry. When you spread under the shade to air dry, Then you take your seeds to your field, put them inside your planter, and then you can start planting. There are two types of planter you can use. There are hand push planter, and then there are tractor mounted planter. So it all depends on the one that is available for you to use. Okay. Now, if your field is not very big, I will advise you use the hand push planter, which is affordable. It is within the range of, it used to be around 50,000 naira, but currently it is around 3 to 400,000 naira. Okay. Now, the tractor mounted planter is in serious millions. It's not less than 5 million. That's just the implement. Why tractor currently is lots of money. Tractor is not cheap. Okay. Now, okay, that's that. So when you now want to plant, um, there are two techniques, but I would prefer to just give you a guide to the better one. I will advise that the very day that you are planting, you should plant and apply fertilizer. I have my reason. I will say this again. The very day you are planting your seed, you put fertilizer. Okay. Now, why? This fertilizer helps to do a lot of things. Don't forget, I said do not plant grains. That is, don't go to open market and just measure seed with mudu and start putting in the ground. Don't do that. Two, do not, do not, do not get what is it called? Do not get seed from people who you don't know. Please, it's very important. Don't get seed from people who you don't know or trust, because you may be getting very terrible seed that will affect you later. Now, when you do everything I've been talking about and you also apply your fertilizer on the same day, what is the advantage? Number one, it is going to make all your seeds to germinate almost within 48 hours. That is, every seed comes out from the first time you see your first seed, that is the third day, to the fourth day, all your seed will emerge. Emergence is different from germination. A lot of people, when they go to the farm and see their crops that they planted coming out, they say, what your plant don't they germinate? It's actually, we usually just keep quiet, but it is not true. That's not germination, that's emergence. Germination is when your seed develops a radical or embryonic root. For example, beans germinate within the same day of activation. Okay, you can do a simple experiment tomorrow morning or even this night. Soak your beans for say 20 minutes, remove it, keep it by your window. The moment there is sunlight, within that same day, your beans will open and start bringing out roots or leaf. You get what I'm saying? That's germination. Then what we see on the field when it comes out from the ground is emergence. So we are trying to be professional here so that maybe our terminology, even after this training, can also change. Okay. Now, when your maize seed comes out, what the advantage of that fertilizer on the same day of planting is that it helps all your seed to germinate uniformly. Okay. Now, the soaking of the seed that you've also done and this fertilizer that you have also applied on the very day of planting, they help all your seed to come out. And I can assure you, if you do everything I've been talking about, you are supposed to have not less than 98% germination. Although you are supposed to do what we call seed test, that is, you pick 100. If you are going to plant your seed in a week time, if you are going to plant your seed this week, you are supposed to just dip your hand inside your bag and count 100 seed. You just fetch at random. You don't need to be looking for no. Just fetch your seed, count 100, plant them. Okay, just plant them in a tray at home, and then after 4 days, 5 days, you count how many of the seed germinated. The numbers of seed that germinate is the percentage viability of your seed. Do you understand? For example, if you have 90 seeds germinating, it means 90% of your seed are viable. If you have 20 seeds only germinating, it means your viability is only 20%. It's a very bad seed. And you can also use the academic score to score it. Okay. Whatever is below 40 is failure. Uh, 40 is fair, 50 is credit. But in this is a business. I will suggest that any seed you are planting should not be less than 90-95%. That is when you can be sure that you are into a very serious business. Because if your seed germination percentage is very poor, that is also going to affect your yield, and that is also going to waste your effort and your time. Okay. Now, when you have run that, when you run the test of that's the seed test, it will now give you that confidence that your seed is good. Now we are on the main field. Let's not forget. Now the third, fourth day, our seeds are out. They have emerged from the ground. You now have to start managing it. If you did the land preparation method we did, which is for you to use your tractor to plow and harrow, you are not supposed to have weeds on your field. You are going to have a very beautiful bed that even human being will want to lie down on. Okay. Now, what you will now do is that what you will now do is that when you have that beautiful bed free from weed seed, 1 week after planting, which means your seeds are all germinated now, you will now apply a herbicide which prevents weed from germinating. Personally, I have my own method and strategy of agriculture. For plants, I prefer to have a field that have no weeds than to have a field that you struggle with weeds. For animal, I prefer to raise animals that have no diseases and you start that is preventive production than to have run into crisis. All your animals are sick. You are now running heter scatter looking for a veterinarian to come and help you. Okay, you will incur what we call economic losses. Okay, so the chemical here to use for our herbicide is atrazine. 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 Wettable powder. It's powdered in a sachet. Okay. When you go to any agric store and you say you're looking for atrazine, they will give you atrazine powder. Now, this atrazine, what you do is you take a tin tomato cup to fetch the powder, pour it inside your knapsack sprayer, and then you apply early in the morning. Make sure you apply this before 10 a.m. in the morning when the sun will be hot. It works better when your soil is still very wet and at least after a rainfall. That is, rain fell within 2 days, then you are applying. It makes the chemical to work very well. How does this chemical work? It mats the ground, it emasculates seed, weed seed, and makes only your maize to germinate or to grow. It does not allow any other thing to grow. Only your maize and other grasses that have similar characteristics with your maize are only what will grow on the field. But when you do it properly, even other weed seed that are grasses will not even come up. So this will help you have a clean feed for 2 months. It will give you a 2 month coverage. Now, when you have a 2 month coverage, you only have you only have extra 2 weeks for your maize to be mature. That is fresh harvesting. If you want to harvest, for example, sweet corn. So you can see one of the advantage of using this approach. Okay, we'll come back to that later. Now, if on the other hand you have weeds, maybe the tractor did not do a good job for you. What you now do is to mix a contact herbicide with the atrazine into your knapsack sprayer so that when you spray, but this time you are not going to wait for your maize seed to germinate. You are not going to you are not going to allow your maize seed to germinate before you spray. You are going to spray before the maize seed germinate because that contact herbicide is going to kill any green thing it meets on the field. So what you are going to do is when you plant your maize today, the following day you come and spray. That is when there are visible grasses on the field because the tractor could not cover everything. Maybe you have overgrown grasses before you started plowing and harrowing. Okay. Now, when you do this, that's weed management for you. It's going to help you cover for 2 months. Oh God. It's going to help you cover for 2 months. is going to help you cover for 2 months. So 2 months of no weed is a very good one. Now, watch out for pests. Basically, the best method to control pests is preventive method. 2 weeks after planting, you will observe maybe some butterflies will start flying, grasshopper will start flying. Then you get an insecticide that can help you take care of them. What the insecticide does is to help kill all insects on the field and the other ones that may come. And there are two types of insecticide. One is a contact insecticide, the other one is a systemic insecticide. A contact insecticide is the one you spray, and when it touches any insect, it kills the insect. Usually we use this one when there is overpopulation of insect on your field. You already have heavy infestation. A lot of insects are attacking your crop. Then contact insecticide comes handy. Systemic insecticide, on the other hand, is what you spray, whether the insect is on the field or not. Whenever the insect comes to the field and touches your crop and touches them, it will kill them. Okay, it will kill them. But now this is also something. Whether it is even the smell of this chemical, this systemic insecticide, even the smell is going to help. It's like a fumigant. It's like when you spray some insecticide in your houses, you don't see the cockroach you are spraying for. You don't see the mosquito, but you only see the effect later. You only see the result because wherever they are, that insecticide will go and kill them. Okay, it will go and kill them. You can only start seeing dead insect later. So I will also advise you use those systemic insecticide. For example, um, lambda cyhalothrin, cypermethrin. These are some insecticides that you can use. Okay. Now, we've talked about insect. Now, watch out for insect attack at least every 2 weeks. You spray. When you spray 2 weeks after germination, you spray your first insecticide. 2 weeks. Someone is
Emmanuel, we can
talking.
hear you clearly. We can hear you clearly. We heard all the points you talked
Can you hear
about.
me?
Yes, we can hear you clearly. We heard all the points you talked about on the primary production. I hope you can hear me. You can hear me, right? Hello,
Okay,
Emmanuel.
yes, I can hear you. Somebody started talking. Or
Okay. No.
I can hear you. I can hear
Okay.
you.
So thank you for the points you've made so far. Very
I can hear
practical.
you.
Um, yes, Emmanuel. Thank you.
Hello.
I can hear you. I can hear you too. I can hear you too. So thank you for the points that
Okay.
you've made so far.
So
It's very
um
practical.
the final
Um, can you go to the point on the tenure it takes to plant? Can you go on the profitability, the return on investment, the export value? Um, is it a crop that it's very needed outside? Is it a crop that it's more economic for in terms of doing it as a business, commercializing it for local domestic market or for the export market? Can you touch on those points, please? Hello, Emmanuel. Can you hear me?
okay.
Did you hear?
Let me start from duration. Duration. I'm with you. I'm with you. I got you. I got you. I
Yep.
will start with duration. Okay. Duration here simply means how long it takes for the maize to grow on the field. Now, the time it takes for your maize to get matured is a function of some factors. Number one, the variety you planted. Okay, did you plant extra early variety or late maturing variety or medium maturing variety? Okay, for extra early variety at 75, For example, while for late maturing variety is 100 months for you to harvest. Okay, that's for duration. Now, let's talk about profitability. Profitability of maize production. I'll just give you a rough estimate because of our time. Now, for sweet corn, the seed of sweet corn alone costs about 18 to 20,000 naira for just 250 grams. Okay, for just 250 grams, and this 250 gram should have about this 250 gram. You just use it to plant a very little portion of your field, but then it's good for you to plant 1 hectare of sweet corn. You'll be needing about 600,000 naira of seed only. That's for sweet corn now. And for sweet corn, you'll be needing not the normal 8 bags of fertilizer. You'll be needing no less than 10 to 12 bags of fertilizer of your production and the technology you are also adopting. Like I said earlier, are you making ridges or you're not making ridges? Okay. But give and take. If you are planting sweet corn, be ready to hold about 3 million naira or more for just 1 hectare, one production cycle. You hold about 3 million. Now, if you are planting normal seed, normal hybrid seed, you'll be holding around 2 million naira. You see, sweet corn is about a million naira more. But when it comes to profitability, sweet corn also gives you a lot of money. Okay. Please, I don't know if we have our calculators with us. I want us to do some math here. I just give a rough estimate of um, cost of production, say 2 million for 1 hectare normal quality seed, and then 3 million for sweet corn. Okay, now let's pick sweet corn first. Let's say on a hectare, do we remember how many stand do we say we have on one field that time? 53,333 stand per hectare, isn't it? Now, this 53,333 stand per hectare, let us have an assumption that we don't know what happened. We lost 3,333, and only 50,000 stand of sweet corn survived it to harvest. Please let this session be interactive. How much is sweet corn in the market? Who bought sweet corn recently? How much is sweet corn? A cup of sweet corn. Are we there? Hello? 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 Yes. You said 1, 2 for just 1 cup of sweet corn. One. Okay. You see, I'm a farmer. If it is sold 1,200, if it sold 1,200 in the market, I will assume the same price. Let me sell at 500 naira. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to pick. Okay, for the purpose of this class, I'll pick three. Let me sell at 500 naira for one. Because you who wants to buy it from me to go and resell, you need to make profit. I'm already giving you a profit of 700 naira. You are making more money than me even. Can you see that? Now, let me give it to you at 500 naira. So please, let's punch our calculator. 500 naira times 50,000. What do we have? That is 50,000 stand cobs of sweet corn. What do we have, please? Hello? Have anybody gotten answer? Okay. Let's not waste time. You will get 25 million. Did anybody punch calculator there? Hello? Okay. So you have 25 million. Okay. Now, have I made profit or not? I've made profit, good profit, 25 million. The difference will be 22 million naira as your gross profit. 22 million. Now, is this a good business or not? That's sweet corn. Okay. But let me also give us this advice. Before you go into sweet corn production, please, very importantly, I will advise you to I will advise you to get a market, get an off taker. Don't just go into sweet corn production, get an off taker. You can imagine having a 25 million naira worth of corn or product and produce, as the case may be. And others are selling for 1,200 per cob. And we decide to sell, we now say, okay, we are the producer. Let us do price war so that we can break into the market. Let us sell at 1,000 naira because it is no longer at the farm. We also have a brand. We have also packaged them, put label, all those stuff. Let us sell our, at my steady fresh vegetable store or stand, as the case may be, fresh veggies and fruit stand, just like what we have in my Tama Farmers Market. My steady will now open an outlet for herself. That there will be a lot of adverts, jingles. Have you tested my steady sweet corn? Have you tested my steady XYZ? Okay. Because of that, others are selling at one too. My steady now say, okay, since we also have a stand, let us sell at 1,000 naira per cup. Now, one cup, the ShopRite sells, we now say, okay, let's sell at 1,000. And on one, we have 53,333 cup. Even expect everything to come out. Only 50,000 came out because we took care of them very well. Security top notch, pest control top notch, fertilizer top notch, weed control top notch. These things I just mentioned are the major things that will help you harvest well. You have done all those things, okay? Now, we now have 50,000. Please help me multiply 50,000 times 1,000 naira per cob. What do you have, please? What do we have? Madam, you are smiling already. Huh? That's 50 million,
Yeah.
isn't it? Okay. Now,
Yes.
what I just illustrated here is very unique in agribusiness. What I just illustrated is very unique in agribusiness. the most important aspect of agribusiness is processing, because it has the capacity to drastically transform your product from one form to the other and adds heavy value to it. The value that processing gives cannot be overemphasized. You cannot undervalue it, because, okay, practical. We got, for selling at farm gate, we sold at 25 million. Now we now decided to also package to brand our sweet corn. We will finish selling our sweet corn before others will sell. Why? Because we have you having 2 million. That is, the 2 million naira you invested is the 2 million naira you got back. No profit. Then what experience? How not to get 2 million naira again? Okay, at least you broke even, isn't it? You got your money back. It's not a loss. You have gathered experience. Now, there are maize that gives you 6 ton. There are maize that gives you 8 ton. We have maize that can give you 10 ton. 1 ton of maize means 1,000 kilogram. A ton means 1,000 kilogram. And then a bag of maize is 100 kilogram. Now, let us assume that you tried very well and you got 6 tons of maize. 6 tons. Please help me with your calculator. 60 bags of maize. Eh? Because I said a ton means 1,000 kilogram, and I said a bag of maize is 100 kilogram. So if we now have 6 ton, it means our 6 ton divided by 100 kilogram will now give us 60 bags of maize. So 60 bags of maize times 50,000 naira. Please, what do we have? Hello, are we there? Hello.
Yes, we can hear you clearly. Please go on. You're very clear.
Okay. Okay. So if you multiply 60 times 50,000, eh, that's going to give you 3
3
million, if
million.
I'm not mistaken. Isn't it?
3 million.
3 million, isn't it? Okay. Uh, okay. I will not want to overshoot. I will not want to overshoot for dry maize at this point. I will stop at 6 tons. So at the end of the day, you are making 3 million. Then there is something here. If you have the capacity, or you have a warehouse, that is to warehouse your maize, to store your maize, so that you will not sell at harvest time, so that you can sell later when there is scarcity or when price appreciates. Maize can go as much as 70,000 naira, 80,000 naira, depending as the economy is or the price of foodstuff. So let us assume it stops at 70,000 naira. Please help me with your calculator. 60 bags of maize times 70,000 naira. What do we have, please? Someone should help me. Are we there?
We are with you, Emmanuel. Please go on.
4.2 million.
Hello. Hello, are we there?
Yes, we are here, Emmanuel.
Hello.
We can hear you clearly. We can hear you clearly.
Okay.
We can hear you clearly.
I said I said multiply 60 bags of maize times 70.
Yes, someone
Multiply
responded.
60 bags of maize times 70,000 naira. What do you have? Okay, I didn't hear him. What's the answer? 4.2 million. Beautiful. Now, this 4.2 million, yes, you invested 2 million during the rain and you're harvesting 4.2 million. The difference is 2.2 million. 2.2 million. Now, let me tell you, you can only achieve good harvest. I'm repeating it. One, when you plant certified seed. Two, your land is well prepared. Land preparation. You did good plowing, good harrowing. Three, you apply quality fertilizer. The right quantity of fertilizer is also applied, and then applied at the right time. Another thing is that you ensure that your farm is never infested by insects. Insect pests do not attack to destroy your farms. Four, ensure that thieves also do not attack your farm. And this is why you must farm in a safe and a secure place. And also five, you must also plant your maize when the rain is well established. When rain is well established, you will not have issues with drought. But also plant drought resistant variety because they are available. What is a drought resistant maize? A drought resistant maize is a maize seed that when planted, even if there is no rain for a week and other farmers field, their maize plants are drying up, your maize will not dry up because the seed have been bred to tolerate drought. Okay, these are very important factors when to consider when cultivating. And also, we also spoke about harvesting at the right time. You don't allow your maize to over dry before you harvest, and if it is fresh, you also harvest early. For sweet corn, let me also say this: for sweet corn, the off taker you have will also determine how you plant. So, for sweet corn, because it is a unique corn, let me also teach us batching. If your off taker say, okay, I have the ability to be buying um 10,000 cob every two weeks. What that means is that you simply plant, you divide your farm into 10 plots of 1,000 square meter. You plant 1,000, you plant that area which will contain 10,000 stand of corn. Then in 2 weeks time you plant another one. In another 2 weeks you plant another one. In another, so every two weeks you have a particular set of maize getting matured that can be harvested and sold to your off taker, so that your off taker will not just come and buy say 10,000 cups, and the remaining 40,000, before he or she will come in 2 weeks time they will be getting hard, and then in the upper week they are already dried. So what do? You then lose the value for your maize. So these are some of the, trick. These are some of the ethics. These are some of the style of production that will ensure you make very good um, yield. You get very good yield and make very good profit from your farm. And then finally, for export, does maize have export value? Yes, it has, but in Nigeria, no. Why? The reason is because in Nigeria, we don't even have enough maize to consume. The immediate past president of the country had to ban importation of maize so as to promote local production. And even the local production till today, we cannot meet up. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. So the market in Nigeria is so huge that you cannot even saturate it, let alone exporting. Why stress when you can actually sell within Nigeria? Once again, my name is Emmanuel Dimo. Thank you very much for being part of this class. I hope um, you learned one or two things. And please, if you have any question, you can ask. And now I'll hand over back to Madam Efosa of my study. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Emmanuel. Have a another live video. Do you have a question for our expert today, Mr. Emmanuel Jimo? Do you have any questions for him from our participants that are live? You can unmute your mic and talk if you have a question. Okay, so it means that it's all clear. Thank you so much, Emmanuel. And I want to say this, that my steady cooperative, we are, thank you so much. My steady cooperative, we are um, giving opportunity for members to be able to farm. Um, you can come into agriculture, you can be a farmer and still maintain what you do through the cooperative model of farming, where we farm in clusters. The cooperative, with its experts, manages the farm and manages the offtake of the produce. So, as a cooperative member of my study, you can still own your farm. We will be looking at different crops, and we'll let people know the crops that we are planting per time. If you want to be part of that crop, Emmanuel is one of our experts in the house. We manage the farm together with all different experts. So if you want to be part of the farm, you want to own maybe a maize farm or other crops we need to talk about, join the cooperative and you can have a farm, you can be a farmer. Agriculture is good business, and Nigeria has the all the natural resources. We have a lot of the value chain. We have a lot of the metrics that would make agriculture work. So I want to thank everyone that joined us live today. I want to thank our experts again for such a very detailed, session on how to practically make plant maize and some of the good agronomic practices and what quantity do you have to do maize at the minimum. He said if you want to do commercial maize at the minimum, you have to plant 5 hectares at the minimum. Thank you so much, Emmanuel. It's been a very educative session. So we will be live again on Sunday, 7 p.m. West African time. We'll be looking at a cash crop, the opportunities, the wealth in a cash crop. Today's session was more on primary production. So we'll look at the other metrics, the opportunities in the cash crop, and we still do one biannual crop also on Sunday, 7 p.m. West African time. Join us. We'll be sharing it on all our platform. You can also pick the information on our social media handles. Please follow us on our social media handles. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on Twitter, X. Follow us on YouTube. We have our YouTube TV. Follow us on Facebook. And we will be coming live on TikTok. You can also follow us on TikTok. Thank you so much, everyone out there. Agriculture is good business. There is wealth in agriculture. and we have a lot of untapped potential in agriculture. To have a great